Welcome to Verbal Pick Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. I'd like to welcome you all to the show. Now, look, I want to give you pre-warning that there will be profanity in this particular show because I am outraged. I'm appalled at what took place in Dallas with Bottom Jean. Parents flew in from St. Lucius. He was a young man, 26-year-old man, who was shot in his own apartment in Dallas, Texas. White female officer parked on the wrong floor, went to the wrong apartment, but her excuse was she thought she was in her apartment. Stated that the door was cracked. She walked in, saw a black male, gave verbal commands that he ignored in his own place and killed them. Now, mother came down from St. Lucius to speak on behalf of her son. Now, she's not a lawyer, but she's surrounded by lawyers. One of them happens to be Benjamin Crump. Benjamin Crump was in the Trayvon Martin case and also Mike Brown's case. Everyone knows those two cases. Now, this is what confuses me, though. Why didn't he prepare a statement for her to read at the press conference that would give her strength? And I'm going to play the press conference so you all can hear, and you tell me, what do you think? Let it load real quick. I'm curious, because it doesn't make sense. Here we go.
World, but she still wants answers.
I'm not satisfied that we have all the answers. And the number one answer that I want is what happened.
Did you hear that? She stated that I'm not satisfied that we have all the answers. The number one answer that she wants to know is what happened. So by that alone, now they have on record stating that she doesn't know what happened. So if you're asking your enemy, if you're asking a system that's been unjust to black people since they arrived, not since we've been here, but since the what do they call him? The colonizer. Since the colonizer arrived, you're asking him that you want him to tell you what happened? After that statement, okay, they said, well, we'll give you what happened if you don't know. Now, I'm looking at Benjamin Crump in the background. I'm looking at the lawyers, and that's behind her. One, this is what I think, and I could be wrong, but this is what I think how it should have went. She should have said, one, the officer was on the wrong floor. Why was she on the wrong floor at the apartment complex when she wasn't on her floor? That's a wrong. So that's strike one against her. Two, she came to the wrong door. So she's wrong 2 times, but that's strike two. You're wrong. You come to the wrong door. You saw the door cracked. You walk inside. Once you saw a black male inside, you pulled your gun. Because obviously there was no threat because he's at home in his place, so he's relaxed, he's calm. Now he's on guard or startled because intruder now is in his residence. So that's strike 3 on the officer for pulling her weapon and intruding without permission into someone's home. Now, this is a statement she should have gave. That's strike 3. Now, you entered in the man's residence illegally because you did not have a search warrant. That's strike 4. You shot the young black male and murdered him. That's strike 5. Now, you can't find anywhere where a judge approved a search warrant on Mr. Jean's home in Dallas, Texas. You can't find it. It's not there. You're not going to find it. You're not going to see it. So now they're saying is that, okay, you want to know what happened, then we'll give you our version. And we're going to go into that later on in this program. So the new version is they had a search warrant later, found marijuana in the apartment. And now, by her not saying that I know what happened, and she told what happened, then it's up to the prosecutor to prove her wrong. And they wouldn't be able to prove her wrong because the evidence wasn't there at the time to prove her wrong. Now they're behind. They have to prove the prosecutor wrong on their case now by stating that they found marijuana in the apartment. Well, why did they come up with an illegal substance that's illegal in Texas, marijuana? Why is that? Because now we getting into the 13th Amendment. 13th Amendment states that a slave was free, and you are free unless you were convicted of a crime. Or unless, now he's dead, but he had an illegal substance in his home, which could have been planted. Okay. But so be it. Now, slaves do not have any rights. If you a black male in America under Christianity and you caught with illegal substance, that relegates you back to a slave status, and you have no rights under the Christian era or the Christian judicial system. Why is that important? As Shaheem stated with Marrakesh Society, as he stated, Christopher Columbus founded America for Christians. So in that context, he did discover America for Christians, meaning that when he arrived, he looked around at anyone among you in these tribes are Christians. They didn't know what the hell is that. They didn't know that brand. Anyone of you Christians? Nobody said nothing. I declare this land for Christianity under the Pope Innocent, because Pope Innocent, after the Moors were defeated in Spain, Pope Innocent gave the order that wherever you saw black people, dark-skinned people, whether they be natives that was already here, on this land, in America and anywhere else around the planet, he gave Christianity the right to confiscate their land and subject them to slavery under the Christian order. So that's why when the slaves came to America on boats and the blacks that was already here, it was either become a Christian or die. That was the choices that they gave them, because if you are indigenous, Moor, black, whatever term you deem to call yourself, in America, you were under Christian rule, which made you their subjects, which made you a slave. So, two things. When she stated that because look, Benjamin Crump, these black leaders, black judges, lawyers, they know this. And this is what confuses me. They understand this. By she stating that her son was baptized, under the Christian order. The Christian order came to put the indigenous people, or black people, into slavery because they felt like they were civilizing the savage in their mindset. But the fact of the matter is that they wasn't savage. When you picture savage, you picture someone who's living in the woods, chasing after their food, had no education, couldn't build any buildings, had no universities. They were just wandering blindly in the woods, confused. But when you go back and study, you see, wait, these people had pyramids from here to Mexico to Egypt. These people had a constitution. They had laws. They had flags. Where did the savage come from? Well, the people didn't live a beast-like state or a savage state until they were subjects under the Christian rule. Because under the Christian rule, the slaves weren't allowed to read or write. Then when they were allowed to read and write, they could only read the New Testament. They couldn't read the Old Testament because the Old Testament is similar to the Quran. So when you read, only the free people could read the Old Testament. The slaves had to read the New Testament. So you were being hustled. We were being hustled. So now they'll state that we're going to civilize this savage. And so they had slavery, a harsh treatment of slavery, in their warped mind was considered a tool or a method in civilizing indigenous people or black people in Americas. It's similar to when you see these old shows, 1700, 1800, early 1900s, where the doctor, the therapist, or psychologist would do brutal means of torture to get demons up out of somebody or to straighten their brain out. They experiment on it with shock therapy and hook and pump electricity through the brain to straighten them out, or purifying witches in Salem who would practice their old religion, who wasn't practicing Christianity, called them witches, burnt them at a stake. Or if you watch Roots, in the sense, Kunta Kinte was praying, prostrating, praying as Muslims prayed, and the other slave, it was either Chicken George or Fiddler, I believe. Fiddler told him, if Master catch you praying like that, they'd kill you because you were interfering with their indoctrination into their form of Christianity. Now, I always said, and I could be wrong though, but I always stated that if you're a Christian, now if you're a Gnostic, okay, that's a form, that's you free. Coptic Christian from out of Ethiopia, Abyssinia, okay, you're free. The Christian practice that was practiced in Ethiopia, okay, you free. But that brand of Christianity that came under Constantine, that the Europeans forced you under, if you hold that title in America, you still a slave. And they still see you as a slave. So when Brother Gene's mother stated that she wants to know what happened, I'm confused again. Why didn't her lawyers prepare her with a statement where she stated the facts that was there to not give them wiggle room? Because what you're saying is you laying on the table of justice. You putting your mercy in the hands of their courts to explain to you what took place. And they're going to give you an answer. And that's going to be the end of it. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully she be charged with murder because it was pure murder. But if she does not get a murder conviction and they give her manslaughter as a police, she might do 2-3 years, up to 4 years, and she'll be out probation back on the streets. And they're going to have a fund of money that they raise for her, and she's going to live well because it's like honor killing in a sense. She earned her stripes. You don't think that the higher ups and officials know these laws and rules and statutes and what to say and how to and understand that slaves has different rights from free men? One, if you carrying a European name and you're under European religion, you're a slave. They know this because only black people who were Christian, the only way black folks became Christian is through slavery. Under European Christianity was through slavery, and the only way black people got European names was through slavery. So that's 2 strikes against you. That's slavery. Now, anything that's deemed as a crime or illegal, you back into slavery. So when you're doing crime, that's 3 strikes against you. You're a slave. It's going to take hell and high water to get you out from up under that predicament. It's not happening. But once again, now, you may hear me on this show always saying Brother Farrakhan said this, brothers who, because he's the only one that gives you the straight up truth on what it actually is. And then he'll tell you you can take it or let it alone. It's up to you as an individual because you have free will. But the fact still remains. You were told straight up, this is what it is. Go back and research and look it up for yourself. And if you choose to remain in ignorance, or if you choose to remain deaf, dumb, and blind, or if you choose to operate out of a slave system or a slave mindset, it's 100% on you. But at least you know what you're dealing with. That's the facts. That's what's important. You know what you're dealing with. And I'm confused when officers of a judicial system of a court, such as lawyers and attorneys, when they tell a victim or say the mother of Bottom Jean, one that was shot in Dallas, when they tell them, look, go out there and just say what's on your heart. So when you go out there and you make statements, I'm speaking from the heart. That's your stance. That's what's left because, see, the reporters, they understand that, and that's what they're looking for. And you can't tell me that these lawyers and some of these activists that stand behind them, they don't know this. So they say, okay, well, go out there and speak from your heart. You get out there and say, I don't know what happened or what took place, but I want answers. Well, you want answers from who? You give them the facts. You don't let them give you their version of the facts because they got a history of distorting the facts. That's why Jesus said you were a liar and a murderer from the beginning. That still it don't penetrate through your head. See, it's example. If you need a show or a television example or something on Hollywood screen or whatnot, just watch Oprah Winfrey's Greenleaf. The ones who had black mother and black father in Greenleaf were in disarray, all the way down to light-skinned Gigi, right? But now the mulatto Gigi's daughter, who had a white father, they made it in the script as though she was the only one with some sense. No, don't do that. This is not right. You should tell. It's like she was the only one who honored uprightness, but all the other blacks was doing everything to get by. They shucking and jiving, lying, cheating on each other, fighting in the church, shooting folk in the church, molesting children, just out of hand, just out of control. Again, reiterating the slave narrative on black Christians. You know, now they don't portray Muslims that are black or the Coptic Christians or black Buddhists in that light because they know that that slave narrative won't stick. Nobody believes that. But that black Christian who was created under European Christianity and forced upon him and then took on white folks' names and then got it in their Constitution. They put that in their Constitution because the thing is, okay, this is how they do it, right? They'll do the statistics. Black male from 16 to 50 known to smoke marijuana, use some type of drugs, especially through the age of 16 to 30, right? So they can plant some marijuana and it'll be believable because the motto is everybody tried marijuana at least once in their life. So when they put that out there, we found marijuana. The first thing a lot of black folks said, oh, damn, there go the case. He had dope. Well, how you know they didn't put the dope in the apartment? Well, you don't know. Nobody knew. But if you want an explanation, this is our version, our explanation, our story. If you all want to know what happened, then we're going to tell. If you asking us to tell you what happened to your child, well, then we're going to tell you what happened to your child. We came back with a warrant. We found dope. That's illegal. Under the 13th Amendment, blacks go back to slavery. You say, well, hold on, wait a minute. He wasn't a slave. Well, okay, well, let's go back and retrace the steps. Let's say, okay, yeah, you right. His mother wasn't a slave. You right. His grandfather wasn't a slave. But whoa, what great-grandfather and that before that, slave lineage, slave blood, last name gene, we produced that under Christianity, and you stated that he was baptized under Christianity and he was in the church every day, didn't miss a Sunday, and he was actively participating, meaning you all the way in. So, yeah, we check. Yeah, slave to me, and then when they use terms dealing with like the coach, white guy, he might don't even know what he's saying, but he stated that when you was around bottom gene, he felt like he was included. He felt like he was involved. Not that he was included and he was involved, but in his mind, he felt like he was one of us. That was a statement. Then he started crying. Because you got to understand, in those higher up supremacist movements, they train them well. And trust me, and I could be wrong, but most white people have family members, cousins, uncles, brothers, nephews that's part of one of them organizations. And they get the message. They don't share it with you, but they get the information on how to do what they need to do as pertaining to the Constitution and their laws. They know how to run the game. You can believe that. And so we sitting out here hollering about we shall overcome, what's going on, what's happening to us, why y'all treating us this way, why we all can't be equal, because it's like the Dred Scott decision. Look that up. You are saying that I'm a slave and I want you to treat me as your equal. And what he's saying is, if you are alluding to, you are admitting, you are acting, you are under the tutelage of slavery, and I don't have to treat you other than what you already deem yourself to be. You get what I'm saying? You already acting like a slave. You under the slave master's religion. You under the slave master's name. You do things under slavery by your own accord. We ain't got we don't have no chains around, no physical chains around you, no bondage around you. You a willing participant. You go up and you do. You go up and you do slave things. Now you go. This is what they wanted to see. This is what, and I'm gonna end this because I keep going back to the Aretha Franklin funeral. You had one on stage, free man, Muslim, wasn't under Christianity, right? And the way that the Christians treated the free man, you are already, by example, saying, I'm a slave. Because you didn't acknowledge him, didn't let him speak. The pastor touching on the girl all up on her breast. They looking up under the girl's dress. They calling her, I thought that was on the menu at Taco Bell. Those are slave actions. You in front of the world saying, and then the congregation cheering it on, and y'all saying, yeah, we slaves. And they saying, yeah, we know, and we gonna treat y'all like that until you wake up and be free. Now, the elephant in the room. What's the elephant in the room? The elephant in the room is the fact that white people really want black people to give them what they want or what they asking for. And black people and white people and black people want white people to come out and say 100% exactly what they want. And it's not gonna happen. So we had a Mexican standoff. White people not finna come out in the public and say, black folk, this is what we want. And black folk not finna come out and do what it takes to give white folk what they want. So everybody had to stand down. But the ball is in black folk court because you the bottom rise to the top on your own free will. What you want somebody, you want your oppressor or the colonizer to pull you up where he's at, that in your mind you feel like that's where you want to be. It's not happening. Look, y'all check out Everyday People Part 1, 2, and 3. We are.